one of the big things I think that has happened, it's been a through line for the series, is that Tobias is always 6 steps ahead of everybody. Uh, Based on what we've seen so far, that doesn't appear to be the case right now.
No, not now.
Do, do you think that either A, he'll find a way to become, to use this, or that we're underestimating him?
I would say all the above. I would say all the above. I don't know how he will escape, if he will escape, when he will escape. But from what I do know about him, I think that he's going to take a situation and turn it for his advantage. I think any situation that Tobias is faced with that may not be perceived as an advantage for him, he turns it eventually.
Who should be the most scared if Tobias gets out?
I think it's going to always be Black Lightning. Yeah, I think it's going to always be Black Lightning.
After all this time, are you surprised that the briefcase still matters?
No. You know, it's funny because if you think about it, this season, it's been a little mentions of the briefcase, but it's not the focal point that it was last season. But see, this is the key to me saying that. We'd be silly to underestimate the significance of it, though, because we've already established how important it is. So for us to forget the significance of it, it would be foolish to do that.
As an actor, has it been fun for you to play? Because obviously, like I said before, you're usually 10 steps ahead of everybody.
Yeah,
You're very
yeah.
smug. You're very comfortable.
Yeah.
Has it been fun for you to play a version of this character where you're still Tobias, but you aren't comfortable?
Great question, and yes, it has, sir. It's been very challenging. And again, when I say challenging, I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that in the best way. It has been challenging. You know, you can imagine playing this, dashing guy that I'm playing on TV, dashingly evil guy that I'm playing on TV for 2 years, and have these amazing story arcs where I am in great power and, I'm very manipulative and maniacal and exude so much physical strength, and mental strength. To have all those layers tore down, for me, it's been fun. It's been challenging. It's been a humbling experience too. It's been in a lot of ways an awakening too. Yeah, for the when I say an awakening too, it is giving me so much authority on the layers of this guy. We're creating so many more layers of this guy.
Can you talk about the makeup process this season so far?
A long one. It's a long one. That's a long one, man. It's a 4 or 5 hour process. Easy.
Do you listen to music or anything
yeah.
while they're doing it?
Constant music. Try to get a nap in. Some good meditation in, a good nap, some good music, and it's done. It'll go by fast. And the hard part is taking that stuff off.
Oh.
You talking about days. Hours to put on, days to take off.
Yeah, you find those little bits of
Right.
silicone forever.
Right. For days. All in your... Yeah, exactly. You already know it's crazy.
So with Tobias in the cell all this time, do you think he's found a way to talk to his sister?
Great question. That's good. I hope so. I don't know. Yeah. I don't see why not. She's a ghost.
Right.
So yeah, she can appear anywhere, right? I think so. Yeah. Something to it.
Now, sorry.
No, go ahead. That was a good question.
One of the things that's inevitable this season because of you got martial law, you got this kind of giant government conspiracy, it's getting bigger than Freeland. Are there other characters out there in the world who Tobias sees as a threat to his dominance? Are there people out, I remember talking with somebody last year about what would Tobias think of Lex Luthor?
Interesting. That's interesting. I'm interested to see that. Well, like you say, we're going into we are exposed in other universes. It's becoming bigger than Freeland. with the crossover this year and whatnot. You know, it's going to become bigger. There has to be. There has to be somebody out there to challenge him on his side, right? And I'm interested to see how he triumphs over that. I think he will. There's something about this guy. I'm not saying because I play him. There's something about this guy. He doesn't go away easy. So they're gonna have to reveal an adversary that's on his side too. I think. Yeah.
And speaking of adversaries, I mean, do you think there'll ultimately be a confrontation with Lala? Because that feels like
Another confrontation.
Yeah.
I think so. I think him and Lala, they have that. They're almost kind of like Magic and Bird too. They have that thing where or even not even Magic and Bird, almost kind of like Kobe and Shaq, where they're on the same team kind of, but then again they're not. One has a way of doing things and the other one doesn't, and it's kind of like I need the other one to get out of the way so I can do my thing the way I do it, and it's a Kobe and Shaq type thing. So I think they'll always conflict and run into each other, and Tobias will always big brother, little brother him, and he'll always hate him and come back for more. And I think so. I do. I honestly do.
Did you have any favorite antagonists in pop culture growing up? Like, villains, that sort of thing?
Yeah, the Joker. By far my favorite comic book. And then you have so many, like Nino Brown. And, oh my goodness. Sheesh. I'm blanking right now. Jeez, oh my gosh, Joker, Nino, yeah, so many. The Sarge from Soldier Story. Who else? Gosh, I don't know why I'm blanking right now. I mean, of course, Hannibal Lecter.
Do you ever, like, when you watch a performance like that, are you thinking Tobias could beat him?
Can beat him?
Yeah, like any of these other characters. Or do you think about them when you're doing a performance at all?
I pull from certain people. I don't,
Yeah.
but none of those guys necessarily that I just named.
Yeah.
But I do pull
Okay.
from certain people. And even like with those guys, what I do try to do, and I was telling somebody next room, what I do try to do is, because you got to think about this. Think about even Kingpin, even Joker, even Lex Luthor. These people have had already iconic performances several times over. You got to think with Joaquin Phoenix, we're in our third iconic performance of the Joker. Our third iconic. Jack Nicholson, Heath Ledger, Joaquin Phoenix. Okay, 3 different generations have iconic performances of one villain. I'm the first performance for Tobias Whale. See what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. How many Lex Luthors has there been?
Quick.
Like 8.
Huh?
Probably like 8.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So for me, I have to set a bench, there has to be a benchmark set. There has to be a bar set. There has to be something that you as a viewer and as a fan of all of those, so you've seen all these, you've seen all of them, right? You've seen Jack Nicholson, Heath, and Joaquin. So I have to bring something to it that has never been seen before. So I do go into it and I go, okay, I have to beat the performance. Not the character per se, because the character's written. It's done already. Like Joker just got his own movie. And it's phenomenal. Like phenomenal. And so so for me to be the first in this particular, character, it's been my duty to make it iconic. It's been a duty of mine.
Now, Tobias has shown a real disdain for the African American community in Freeland.
Yeah.
How does he feel that, like, the big bad this season, the guy who's holding it over everybody, is Odell as a person of color?
Right. I mean, he doesn't really look at it as a bad thing that he's not it doesn't add to him being evil that he's black. I think for Tobias it'll probably add to the mistakes he's making. You know what I'm saying? For the way Tobias sees it, you know. He has a self-loathing and a disdain for his own people. But more so, he has a disdain for their ignorance. You know, he has a disdain for their lack of generational achievement. You know, and he utilizes his achievements and his things as a benchmark or a bar. You know, so for Odell, I don't think he looks at it in any way other than, you know, he's just evil. You know, if you think about all of his enemies, as far as Tobias Whale, are black. There's not a thing like that. You know, you black or white. You know, anybody that's standing in the way of his power, he's on it. You know, and I just think with Odell, it just makes you know, that's just another thing, but he hasn't let it, you know, it hasn't influenced him either anyway.
One of the things I think that you've done really well with this character is making him really compelling. Mm-hmm. Like, even when he's not sympathetic.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Even when he's not sympathetic, he's incredibly fun to watch. Has there been like an additional challenge of making sure that when you are in a position of weakness and you're being kind of abused and beaten, that, like, no, this is still something people want to see. This is still the same guy.
Fucking right. Yeah, it has been. I mean, if you look at what we've done so far this season, being in the pit, you know, looking old and all that, I don't think Tobias has given up his power yet. You know, for him to be dying and decrepit and burned and all of that, he still is Tobias. He still maintained his power. He still maintained his strength. He doesn't give a fuck about Black Lightning and is vocal about that. He's still witty. He's still very much so witty. He still hasn't lost his wits about him. Old age hasn't taken away his wits. And I think him meditating, and that's why I love that scene. And that wasn't in the scene. That was a choice that I made, because him meditating showed an internal strength that he has. You feel me? We've seen the physical strength. We've seen his manipulation, so his intellectual strength. But we're seeing a deeper thing. We're seeing something else happen. We're saying, okay, you can do anything to me, and I'm going to be okay, and I'm going to be me. You know, and I'm going to look at you and say, fuck you, where's my money? You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you know, and I think that it's important for him to, no matter what, not lose his power.
Do you think that tenacity is what Odell's counting on for whatever Odell has planned for him?
I think so. Hey, brother. I think so. I think he is. I think Odell is. He could have just killed Tobias. There's a reason Odell didn't. We could just kill him, or put him so, you know what I mean, or just whatever, disposed of him. He got around for something.
I guess
Can go for it.
You said.
Would Tobias help rebuild Freeland if it would give him his power back?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I mean, I don't think his thing was never to tear down Freeland.
Yeah.
His thing was to control it. You know, to run it. He doesn't want to tear it down. He likes Freeland. I mean, it's his home. So he wants to control it and run it. That's it. He doesn't want to tear it down.
Funny enough, that's very close to what I was going to ask anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Christine said she didn't think that after the occupation, Freeland can ever go back to quote unquote normal. Do you think that that new not normal benefits somebody like Tobias to see if
Yeah.
he can get out?
Yeah, I do. I do. I mean, just based off of what our conversation is here, if you think logically, I think it does. I think it's going to service him. I think all of this chaos is servicing him anyway. He's still alive.